Hello, welcome to this episode of the Maverrik podcast. I am Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Dave Falkner and Kurtis Cheah.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. How is the business development team in motion? You doing well?
Yeah, to be fair, things are going very well. We've now got Dave on the team, so...
Yeah, I'm excited to just kind of put my knowledge and expertise into sales now. I've kind of been in the company for a long time, so it'd be good to get more involved in selling. I know all our products really well, and I love talking to people, so...
Yeah, so today we're talking about, our clickbait title is how to get 100 leads and how to get people, obviously social selling, but people get lead generation and social selling mixed up sometimes, don't they? They think like just social selling is just lead gen, when it's not really, is it?
No, so I would say social selling is almost like a whole process. So it even comes down to the content you're producing, the value proposition you're putting out, the brand awareness that you want to be known for. Whereas a lot of people, when they go for lead gen, it's almost like the quick solution where they go, okay, as a business where we are now, we need to just get 100 or 200 leads, and then that will just fix our problem. Yeah. Whereas social selling encompasses the whole process to make one working system, basically.
Yeah, it makes getting that 100 leads it's simpler. It simplifies it.
Yeah.
As Dave, you were saying that now you've joined into the team. A lot of the stuff that you had to deal with was the content side of things, and it was creating like inbound interest via the content. So whether it comes to Maverrik content, when it came to client content as well. Yeah. When it comes to gaining that 100 leads, how important is content, do you think?
I think content is probably one of the most important things when generating leads, because if you think you're trying to, you've got to capture the right people. I could post anything out there as my content, and I might get a few people to see my post, but you have to get your message right within your content. If you get your message right within your content, then you'll attract the right audience. And if you do it the right way, they all turn into leads in themselves. So content is really important. You can use things like polls. Polls are a great way to generate leads. If anything, I think life becomes a lot easier when you get inbound, right? So using content is the best way to get inbound leads.
Because you want to get engagement. So engagement can lead to leads where, sometimes think, I've got all of this engagement, I've got all these views, all these people looking at my content. That's leads, right?
Yeah,
right,
definitely. and even besides using the right content, it's important that people just use content full stop. Because if you look from the way LinkedIn's evolved, where it's become a job searching platform, where a lot of people used to just set up their profiles and they would just leave their profiles almost like a business card.
Yeah.
Now when it comes to social selling, we always say no one goes on LinkedIn to buy anything. So if you're not even producing content, how are people gonna magically land on your profile when there's about 800 million profiles in the whole world?
Yeah, but there's pathways you need to take in order to get to that profile. And your profile's kind of like the shop front, isn't it? It's where people go and say, I know what service you provide, even though you've kind of said it in your content, at least refer at it. Because you guys focus on getting as much interaction with the person as possible because of whatever we sell, whether it's a service or whether it's a course or a program. We're not talking about something which is you walk into a shop, you pick up, I want a bottle of water, I'm going to take it to the counter and buy it, done. Because that's just simply you see something, you want to buy it, and it's a transactional thing. Whereas when it comes to social selling and selling services, whether if you're a consultant or a coach, you're selling something with a lot higher price value on it. So you need to make sure that you're trusted with that person before you say, hey, do you want to call? Hey, do you want to buy this product or service?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that just by posting about how great they are, posting stuff about their company all the time, and I see it all the time, they're sharing their company posts and that's all they ever do. And they might build a certain audience, but that's the whole point with content. You post consistently, like Kurtis was saying, and then you start to change your message so that you filter out the people that aren't necessarily going to buy your product, and you filter through the ones that do want to buy that product, or at least they're interested in what you have to offer. And then you can kind of take those people on the journey, which hopefully end up in a sale. So it's almost like that starting point of directing the right people through your profile, and kind of leading the ones who you don't really want to target out.
Yeah.
And people think that just by posting their content stuff, people go, this company looks great, I'm going to buy. But it's really, needs to be a lot more focused than that.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because you've got people who, post content, create content, and they go, I've got this great piece and I put it out there and I'm happy about it. And then it just kind of sits on an island, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You need to be posting consistently if you want to get that 100 leads. You got to keep posting.
Yeah, because I think LinkedIn eventually, if you stop posting, they'll just kind of drop you off their kind of on the algorithm. So they're putting you in front of all these people that you're interacting with regularly. And then if you just suddenly stop, they're not going to favor your account anymore. They're not going to favor your content. They're just going to slowly let it fall away.
Yeah. It's why we talk about breaching through the noise.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on. It's like the feed is constantly like getting pushed down. It's like kind of chucking a stone into a river.
But like as you mentioned there, the stuff that is filling the feed is the buy my stuff, or we've won these amazing awards, or we're working with Amazon, we're working with Warren Buffett. But if you tell that to your audience, they would basically go, what the hell does that mean to me and my business? Like, how does that fix our problem?
Yeah, I've been on the feed where I go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I just scroll past it.
Yeah, so like we found really the content to really get your message to resonate is content that focus on your prospect pain points and like where they are. Because only then when you talk about their problems and like what you can fix, that's when they can articulate how your service or your product fits their problem basically. And then that's how you seed your value proposition.
Because you get a video. Say you get a video company who have just put out. A lot of the time, you'll see this. They put out a web concept or a video that they've just produced for, say, Coca-Cola, and they're like, "Look at this video we've done for Coca-Cola." They're basically advertising Coca-Cola is what they're doing. They're re-advertising that advert, and it looks great that they can say like, "This is our camera work," and people do look at that work and say that it's good work. But why did Coca-Cola buy from them? Why did Coca-Cola choose them to do their video product? It's not just because they looked at a video and thought it looked good. They would have had to sell them a whole load of reasons as to why they were better than the next company at doing video production. And I think people miss that trick a lot of the time.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they're posting that initial buy my stuff post, that's the only people who are buying that are already there ready to buy, I guess. And that's what, about 1% of the people in that feed who are looking into that space. Less than that, yeah, because we preach about all this time. People don't know they need you until they need you. Until you tell them why
they need you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, painful. When you think about content, I'd say this to people all the time, and they always understand by the end, and that is that you spend all that time saying, "Oh, I'll save you time. I'll save you money. I've got a load of experience in the industry," and that's what everyone else is saying now, because that's everyone's what they think is their benefits. You've got to reach in and go, okay, so. That's the benefit. I'm going to save them time, but what does that give the client? What does that give them? So saving them time might mean that they get more time to focus on the sales side of their business because it's lacking, or like you've got to really reach into the exact reason why you would help them. And when you start talking about that in your content, the people start seeing it and they're going, oh, that person's going to save me time, that person's going to save me money. Oh, that person, they're going to allow me to do such and such. Yeah. And that's something different to what everyone else is saying. And that's kind of where the content can really come into play.
When you raise your profile above the rest of the noise, like I mentioned before, when you become the authority on that topic, people will come to you. You'll get more inbound leads from that because people will see that you're posting constantly, you know what you're talking about. And it's the same with if you're talking about hobbies, if you're talking about anything in the world, you throw yourself into it, you get to know more about it. It's like when the first time you use like a camera or something, if you're using something over and over again, you get to know the minutiae of it, you get to know more about it and how it works. And what people do then is think, well, this person obviously knows what they're talking about. It can be anything. Like we're talking about any sort of service, any sort of coaching. As long as you know what you're talking about and you keep saying you know what you're talking about, you become that authority. You become that person that people go to solve that problem. Because who wants, whenever it comes to like solving an issue you have online, you will go to the person who is respected in the field more than the person who's just started or just, amateur beginning. It's just how it works in that sort of like scene. Yeah,
you spend enough time convincing them that you're credible, so you know what you're talking about. Just by giving out knowledge, giving out value, you basically make it so that they go, this whenever they need that service later on, say, they're not going to the person who's just promoting their company all the time. They're going to the person they know because they've seen is credible. They know that they know what they're talking about. They know that they'll achieve a result because you've kind of seen them talk about it already. And a lot of the other people are just saying like we're cheaper or.
But also all of this credibility stuff plays a massive part into the trust aspect where you said, as people know, a lot of LinkedIn is the biggest B2B platform. So the majority of people who are selling on LinkedIn are probably selling £5,000 plus services. Yeah. So it always makes me laugh when people get very funny with people when they go, oh, I've tried this lead and I've sent them a sales pitch and they don't want to buy my stuff. And then they go, but I'm selling a £20,000 product. Now, no one's just going to sign up to a £20,000 product just from one message or like one interaction. So it does take time. So that's when we talk about social selling. It's important to have that social aspect into it. As in, if you went to an expo and you was to meet people, you wouldn't go, "Hi, I'm Luke 2. We do social selling. When can I help you?" Yeah.
Let me send you an invoice.
Yeah. So it's almost going, "Oh, hi guys, how come you're here? Have you been here before?" You're building all of those. You're asking those questions to build that trust and that credibility, and then you share pieces of value, which is what we do on a digital version, because it's probably harder to build trust on a digital version as well, because one, they don't see you in person, and since the pandemic, digital's gone through the roof. So I'm sure everyone's seen in their inboxes, in their DMs, you get a lot of fake profiles, you get a lot of fake emails. So a lot of people rely heavily on trust before making their actual purchase, which is why we do all of this content, the interactions. It just shows how credible we are.
So, I mean, back in the day, from a traditional like sales point of view, do you ever go to those like networking events and mixes where people talk to each other and go, "Oh, I can help you with this, I can help you with this"? It is kind of the same thing. You've got the shady characters in the corner that you would avoid, which would be the bots in a sense. But it is just being around.
Yeah, it's almost just going, okay, what would I do if I was in person, but you're on LinkedIn? Okay, I wouldn't pitch them straight away. I wouldn't say I'm Maverrik straight away. I'd try and build that relationship first. Like try and find some common ground, like whatever you guys can talk about, whether it's something they've posted or you've seen that they've ran a marathon last week and you just engage with that content. Yeah, you just find some common ground, because that's the only way you're going to start a conversation. And if you're always trying to look for the people who are ready to buy your product at any given time, that's such a low number, and you'll just churn through so many people.
Yeah, so I think that's what we mentioned along in our content going years back now with Maverrik, is people will do that churn and burn where they want to get as many people as possible, which is kind of like this 100 leads now.
Yeah.
Say, "Oh, well, screw 100, I want to do 1,000. Do you need that many leads? Do you need 1,000 leads?
I think if you're thinking about 1,000 leads, like if internally you're thinking you need 1,000 leads, then your conversion's so low, you're doing something wrong. And when you use social selling, especially in the methods that we use, our conversion rate is too high to even think. We'd love 1,000, don't get me wrong, because we know our conversion rate is at a point where we'd convert so many off 1,000, we wouldn't need any more leads for another year or so.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, we wouldn't try and get 1,000 leads, because we can convert on a lot less than that. And I think that's the key. If you're thinking I need 1,000 leads, it's because your conversion is so low. It's probably because you're sending out cold messages to people when your product's, like Kurtis said, it's 20 grand. You got to think from a point of view, someone isn't buying that product as from like a one-click email or a one message. So just building that relationship first and letting that person feel like they know you. Next time they think about needing that product or service, after looking at your content, seeing your name pop up left, right, and center, you've already built that credibility. So the next person that pitches them, they're gonna be like, "I don't know. I already know a guy who can help me with that."
Yeah.
And that guy's been around for a little while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
But also, if you're going too big, so following from like the 1,000 leads, which is what a lot of people try and do, is they'll try and go for, let's say, the whole market, because they go, actually, if I'm appealing to the whole market, then I've got a better chance of success.
Yeah, cast a wide net.
Yeah,
what comes in.
But actually, this will affect the other parts in, let's say, your machine, where you go, actually, if I'm trying to appeal to the whole audience, that'll affect my content. So my content will be quite wishy-washy, because I'm trying to attract the whole audience instead of a small particular type of audience, where we will hone down and we go, okay, let's focus on consultants, for example. What's their biggest problem when it comes to social selling? And we'll hone in that message. At least our message will become very well received.
Yeah.
And also they'll understand that message clearly. And then that's why we'll get a high return.
It feels more personal. I think we always say the statement, people buy from people. And when you feel like you're getting spam message, you feel like you're buying from a robot. Yeah. And the whole point in us is we want to make our messages personal by addressing them not like an email, like as if we're having a conversation with them. It's like Kurtis said, it's almost face-to-face interaction within a platform.
Even if you had like a great message, like say you've written the best like LinkedIn message of all time.
Yeah.
You send that out to 1,000 people in a day. Now you have to respond to 1,000 people in a day. And you know, how much can you give of yourself to that? Because obviously you're talking with clients and leads and prospects all the time. And you know how much time that takes up, because you want to give value to them. You want to talk to them, see where they're at with their business and how we can help them. You can't do that on such a big scale.
Yeah, I think the difference is, especially when we use things like LinkedIn, is we're trying to talk straight to the decision maker a lot of the time. And if you want to send out that many, you know you're going to be missing a lot of the marks with the people you're targeting. We're sending these messages potentially to the business owner or someone who is going to make the decision. So we're not trying to bypass any kind of initial places.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean,
also,
it's
like
really
you
hard
said,
to reach a CEO straight away.
But also, like you said, a lot of people, whether it's personal or companies, they don't have the organizational skills to go, I'll respond back to all of those 1,000 messages. I mean, you've probably had it the same where you'll get someone who sends loads of templated messages, whether it's in a sequence or whatnot, and you'll respond like, yes, I'm interested, just to see what they come back to you. And then they won't come back to you for another 2.5 months. But by the time if I was a genuine lead, I probably would have changed my mind or even found
with someone
else.
Yeah, or competitor. You would have been like, well, I had this problem, but it was a week ago. You didn't come back to me, so I went with your competitor who was there like that.
But even with our methods, I mean, you create the leads. The lead is one thing, but building relationship is like the most important thing. We would usually convert face-to-face on a call anyway. So people try too hard to get purchasing, sell within the platform. I think sometimes you just need to build a relationship in the platform, use your content to kind of leverage your value proposition, and then sell to them when you've built that relationship.
Well, I'll leave it there on that good side note, a good closing statement. That's probably a better way of saying that. But thank you for coming down, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you all for listening and watching to this episode of the Maverrik podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us for more and like and share so we can basically share the love online. We'll see you next time.